This is Alice Faye. My guest today is Pam Osley. And Pamela is a world-famous psychic. Hi.
Hi, how are you?
I want to hear about your background.
My background.
Where were you born?
I was born in Billings, Montana in December. Now, it doesn't get any colder than that. So sometimes I go, what was I thinking?
Here you are. I don't guess radio and television were around.
No, I didn't even grow up with television. We couldn't afford it. I didn't even get to see the Beatles when they first came out on TV on Ed Sullivan. We didn't have a TV.
Would you go to church? What kind of music would you have heard?
I would go buy records. In junior high, all my girlfriends, we'd get together and pretend we were the Monkees. Remember the Monkees?
Oh, of course.
Oh, yeah, we'd play the instruments, we're being the Monkees.
Then I saw her face. Now I'm a believer. Not a trace of doubt in my mind. I'm in love.
My parents didn't really listen to music much that I remember, but I did. It was the 60s. My favorite obviously was the Beatles.
Get back, Loretta.
I love music. That's what I used to do, hide in my room, because there's a lot of noise in the house
For
with
children.
4 kids. I would hide in my room and listen to music. And the Beatles and the Beach Boys and Loggins and Messina.
What Loggins Messina do you
I
like?
loved all the Loggins and Messina things. My favorite was actually This Is It.
This is it. Make no mistake where you are. This is it. Your back's to the corner. This is it.
Thing is I had a vision. I just trusted my intuition as I, got to Santa Barbara and got into this business and went this way. And I did want to get out of Riverside. So I was with a roommate at the time going to a junior college in Riverside, and I got a state scholarship to go to a college. My roommate at the time said, I've applied to Westmont in Santa Barbara. I'd never been here, never heard of it. And I went, Westmont? It's a Christian college. It's really beautiful. So I applied. She applied. I got accepted. She didn't. So I moved up here by myself. And it was a very tough college and very rigid. They had a band play on campus once, and some of my friends had danced. They got us suspended for like 3 weeks for dancing on campus because no dancing allowed. It's good to be a Westmont graduate. It's very good to get jobs after that. You tell people you're a Westmont graduate, they hire you. So that was good, and I met some great people, really nice friends. But I didn't belong on campus. I like playing practical jokes. So I would do things like I'd get a bunch of girls together and we'd sneak down to the boys' dorm at 3 a.m. and go to the parking lot, not inside their rooms, the parking lot. We'd hotwire the horn to their lights so that when they went to turn on the lights, their horn would go off. I thought that was funny. And then the rest of them, at 3 a.m, we'd sneak in there, we'd push the horn down and tape it down and run. People kept telling on me, so they finally let me move off campus. I thought it was fun, It's very stressful going to college, and it's really hard work there. So, I was just blowing off a little steam. But I did graduate. I graduated.
What did you concentrate on? What did you major in?
My mother wanted me to major in English. I wanted to major in psychology or sociology, so I ended up majoring in sociology my final year. I love reading things like Thoreau and Emerson, and I'm very spiritual. As you know, we Blues are all very spiritual. We've believed in a higher power ever since we were young. So I love spiritual things. I love philosophical things. I love, like I said, Emerson, Thoreau, anything that got me just really thinking about life on a much higher level or bigger level, not just,
And at this time, you didn't know you were a psychic or any of that?
No. And you know what I realized after I did discover I was psychic? I look back now on some of the dreams I used to have or some of the premonitions. For example, I had dated somebody in high school. Then, of course, when I was in college, near the end of college, I hadn't seen him for easily 4 or 5 years. And 1 week, every single night, I would have nightmares about him. I would be walking across the campus and think that I would see him, and I'd wave at the person, go, Pat, my gosh, what are you doing here? And of course, when the person would get closer, I'd went, oh, that's not Pat. I'm very embarrassed. I thought that was Pat. For a solid week, I had strange experiences. And then a couple weeks passed, didn't have those anymore. A couple weeks later, he called me after 4 or 5 years. And I went, oh my gosh, Pat, how are you? And he said, well, I'm better now. I was in the hospital for a whole week a couple weeks ago and almost died.
Ooh,
and
that gives me cold
I
chills.
was dreaming about him the whole time he was almost dying.
I used to see an identical twin, and she and her sister were very psychic. And some of the things she told me about and some of their experiences, they scared her. Now, did you ever feel frightened?
No,
You
it's
would just
never frightened me.
you get out of university And where do you go then?
Because I wanted to help people. Again, we Blues, we're teachers, counselors, nurses. It's all about people and love and spirituality. So I started out at St. Vincent's Nursery, my first job, and then I went to Devereux, the rehabilitation center for emotionally disturbed.
So you chose Devereux.
I worked there for quite a few years, and then I worked at Franklin School here in the learning disabled children, autistic children, and got burnt out. I decided I wanted to go work at the Bowl.
The Bowl is a phenomenal place. It's an outdoor theater. It's called the Santa Barbara Bowl. It presents everybody who's famous because they pass through here. But when you worked there, it was not the Bowl we know today. So tell us about that.
That was such a fun time in my life. I mean, you know how much I love music, and here I was getting to hang out with all the big rock and roll stars. How fun is that? I convinced them to hire me in the box office. And
You're
then,
quite strong-headed.
well, I kept going back until I convinced them to hire me as box office staff, and within a month or so, I was manager there.
What kind of music did you listen to then?
Oh, I love the Eagles and Jackson Brown.
Were
and
you here when they came back?
the Eagles? I went to their concert.
I did too. Wasn't
Yeah.
it great?
Get over it. Get over it.
I went to see the Eagles. I went to see McCartney down at the Staples Center. That's too far away. I'm like, excuse me, this is not as much fun. I want to go meet him.
You were working for the Santa Barbara Bowl, which we both love, but you left. You decided to up and out and went to Hawaii.
Yeah, I went to
That
Hawaii.
was what, 79?
79.
Why'd you do that? Just wanted out.
I needed to leave town for a while. Not because the law was after me. No, you know, when you get involved with the wrong guys, sometimes you just have to leave
We've
town
all been
to
there,
break
honey.
the pattern. But typically wounded little boys. So anyway, I moved to Hawaii, and without a job, without a place to live, with $1,300 because I sold my little Volkswagen Bug. And I moved there, and actually, Loggins and Messina helped me get a job in the concert field over there. And when I was in Hawaii, you know, I got to do the rock and roll world, go pick up the rock stars, give them the lays at the airport, because I was one of the only females in the rock business over there. So the whole joke was, backstage, there's Pam. She's the one that laid us at the airport. Oh, that's really yeah, and then fly in the private planes to the other islands to do the concerts over there. So that was
You
fun.
lucky girl.
Hard to give that up, but I miss Santa Barbara. So I came
Did
back. I came back, and then Stephen Cloud, big concert promoter here in Santa Barbara, was at that time, helped me get a job at the Libero.
Once again, it's not the Libero we know today. It was, you said, only open how much?
I am not kidding you. That place was rented out maybe a total of 3 to 4 weeks a year. When I ran that place, by the time I left there, it was being used 360 days a year. We brought shows in from New York. We produced our own shows.
Because you went and got them, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
What did you get?
Well, for example, Children of a Lesser God. So we got some good shows there. We ended up doing a whole couple of series with a lot of celebrities in them. Even though, you know, I'm one of those people, I'm sure like you, where it's like, they say, you can't get celebrities to come act in this theater. It's too small. And I went, oh, yeah?
Something happened, though, and I don't quite know when it happened, when you discovered, which is your life now, that you were a psychic.
I was running the Libero Theater at the time. And I went to, with some friends, I went to hear a psychic speak. He
From
was
England.
an English shaman. So I was curious. I'd never really seen anyone like that before. Didn't know
What
what I
was his
thought of
name?
it. Michael Bromley, very well-known psychic in England. And I went to see him, and I was in the audience, and he pulled me up out of the group that night, put me in front of the audience, and said, you know how to do this too. You start telling people what you see about them. So he threw me in the water. He just said, look, you've been asking to go to the next level, which is me. You know, it's like, okay, been here, done that, been at the Libero for 5 years. I'm ready for a new adventure. Now what? And he said, you've been asking to go to the next level. I went, how did you know that?
Being a psychic can also be painful because you see things.
It can be uncomfortable. Mostly I see it as people use the word gift. I believe we all have this ability. So I guess it's a gift, just like life is a gift, and sight is a gift, and hearing is a gift. You know, it's the same thing. But I do believe it's a natural ability that we as humans,
If we let
spiritual
ourselves.
beings, we all have it. And we've all had experiences of being intuitive, like we just know something, we don't know why. But I got real specific information that evening. I knew a woman over to my right was pregnant, and she didn't know she was pregnant. I saw the spirit of a little girl standing right next to her, and she went to the doctor the next day and found out she was pregnant, and she had a little girl. And I knew a woman in front of me was having problems with this big, old, beat-up car, and she was having trouble with it, and big old green car, and I described it, and her face just dropped. She went, I borrowed my neighbor's car, and it's a big old green monster thing, and I don't know how to drive it. I'm just having problems with it.
How
So very
funny.
detailed information.
How does this work?
Well, first, what happened is I was all excited and wow, and how's this happening? And so I told a few friends, and of course, they're like, do me, tell me what you see about me. I'm like, I started giving them information, and pretty soon they told their friends, and their friends started coming to me. And so I started charging a little bit because it was taking a lot of my time, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger, and more people just, I don't advertise. I got out of the Libero. I was ready for a shift anyway. While I was getting my clientele built up to as in my psychic work, I actually was a DJ, one of those remote disc jockeys that goes to weddings and parties and stuff.
But what were some of the things you played?
So if you're at a wedding, you got to play, Glenn Miller all the way up to, Rock Lobster because there's every age there. So I got to be around music. And I like a lot of the new music.
What do you
that's
like
out.
that's new?
Like Maroon 5.
You've got like a year waiting list.
It's really only 5 to 6 months. It used to be
Only.
a year. It used to be a year because I was
Only?
traveling so much on book tour and everything. When I'm home, I can
Oh, you
get
write a
more
book.
in.
Tell me about the book.
I have 3 books.
Okay.
The first book that I came out with was Life Colors. And then my second book was Make Your Dreams Come True. It's all about how to create your reality and how your thoughts affect your life and how to change your thoughts. And then my first publisher came back and said, Life Colors is doing so well, and it's been on the bookshelf now for 10 years, and it's still selling. Will you do a revision of it and write some more information? So I did that one. And then Love Colors, which is all about the aura colors and relationships.
Oh, that sounds amazing. I want to talk about life colors first.
Once I started doing psychic work, about a year into that, I met a woman, Dr. Barbara Bowers, hard to say really fast. She could see auras. She started describing what she was seeing around people and what that meant to her, and it fit with what I was picking up psychically about people. So I would work with her. I'd bring her up to Santa Barbara from San Diego and have her do workshops up here. And I'd learn over time. I'd go, oh, that's a blue. Oh, that's a green. No wonder I keep getting these same qualities and traits with different people. There were patterns. There's personality types that go along with the different aura colors. So eventually I learned how to psychically tune into what a person's aura colors were. And then eventually I learned to be able to see them. So again, another ability that I believe we all have. I run into a lot of children right now that see auras and they sense them. We've all felt them. We all know that we've stood by somebody and we just don't quite feel like we want to stand by them. It's something about their energy.
Or if they're ill.
And yes, and other people we just want to hug or be close to, we feel really safe with. We're sensing their energy field. We're sensing their aura. Anyway, so I developed the ability to be able to tell what people's aura colors are.
What does an aura look like?
Okay, well, first of all, for people that are listening, the scientists call an aura an electromagnetic field that radiates off of all matter, especially living matter. And the way I see it, it's beautiful glow that radiates off of a person in all direction, all around you, like a giant eggshell, but like a light off of a light bulb. And most people have lots of different colored bands. So closest to their body, for example, you have a blue band. And that shows me something about your personality, what your priorities are, how you're going to be with relationships, how you're going to be with money, careers that you're going to be drawn to or happiest with. And then there'll be a second band, and like yours is yellow. And then the yellow will tell a different part of your personality. Yellows are basically big kids at heart, playful. They like blues, cry at everything.
We were naughty.
That's it. Yellows are little rebels.
We were a little naughty.
Well, you have the same aura colors as Goldie Hawn and Meg Ryan. They're blue yellows also. Do you see how they never
Yes.
age? And they're just the girl next door. They're fun. Jennifer Aniston. They're all blue yellows. And then the 2 colors closest to a person's body typically are what their life colors are. Those colors don't usually change. And the outer bands change all the time, according to what's going on with the person. So if they're angry, a lot of red shows up in the outer bands. If they're focused on money, all of a sudden I see a lot of green in their outer bands. If they're traveling or doing global projects, humanitarian, a lot of violet shows up. When somebody's ill, usually the aura fades to me. It's not as vibrant. I've run into people that see auras and they say they see black in the aura. I've never seen black
No,
in the
the
aura.
Buddhists would say they fade.
Yeah, it looks more faded to me. And then I know somebody's either really depressed and not long to be here, or they're ill and there's a serious problem. So it shows up. It's a light that comes off of us. And if we look at that, we've been told we're all energy.
I did a little bit of work at Harvard, and I get to hear a lot of interesting things. And of course, now that they can scan the brain, you were talking about colors. I mean, that's how they scan the brain.
Right.
Is like if you have a hot spot, it'll be orange because there's something wrong.
Right.
If it's blue, it's calm. red is pain. I mean, so what you are able to do is you don't need the scanner.
And it's amazing how many children, people are bringing me their children all the time going, my son's telling me that he's seen colors around people, what's going on? And I'll talk with the boy and we're seeing the same aura colors. He describes it.
Tell me about relationships, because your latest book is called Love Colors. How does that work?
Each of the different aura colors has different priorities that they're looking for in a relationship. So if people understand, if they can read about the different personality and the needs and what's important to them, their priorities, if you're in relationship with someone, first of all, you can get along better then because you understand them. And even people that are looking for love, I wrote a lot in this book about if you're lonely, you're looking for a partnership, a lot of people are looking in all the wrong places.
Hoping to find a friend and a lover. I'll bless the day I discover another heart looking for love.
I describe each of the aura colors and go, if you're looking for a yellow, this is where you're going to find them. You go to the dog park. You know, you do this, you don't go and flirt with your bank teller because you're not going to meet a yellow in a bank. Alice, my belief is that we chose to come to this planet, that we're spiritual beings. I believe we're here for the adventure. Now, everyone's got a different theme, you know, different belief system. But I believe that when we came here, we had this general plan of what we wanted to experience here, what kind of person we wanted to be and what adventures we wanted to have. And I believe that we left little clues behind in case we got here and forgot, which is very likely. So we chose the aura colors to go, oh, yeah, you're blue, yellow, and with some violet. This is what you wanted to do here. Or, oh, yeah, that person's a tan or that one's a green. To remind them it fits with astrology, numerology, Vedic astrology, palmistry, iridology. They all coincide.
I can't wait for you to do my reading. I'm probably a little anxious. I think most people would be. Is that right?
Some people that have never done this before are a little nervous or what are you going to see, which is one of the reasons why I like starting with the aura colors. It makes people feel safer that it's something outside of them.
That's interesting.
When I go in to do psychic stuff, they almost feel like, wait, what are you doing in there? How do you know who I am? So I like starting with the outside to help them feel safe.
It's just fascinating. What would you say in a brief one sentence about me?
I can tell your aura colors real quick, and then you and I will have a longer discussion
sure.
sometime. You're
Great.
a blue-yellow, just like me. And again, I talked about this earlier, and you've added some violet in your aura. Blues are very loving, very warm. It's really all about
thank
people.
you.
It's really, we're typically teachers, counselors, and nurses. Blues are here to bring love, to be in service. It's all about people. Now, we also love being in love. We're the most loyal, monogamous, committed people on this planet.
Sometimes that's not so good.
Exactly right. Because blues will put up with things that other colors won't. And people will go, what are you doing? You know, we'll just hang in there.
Yep.
Now, blues love loyalty and commitment, and we're very emotional. Yellows are free-spirited kids. They want to go play. They want to go have fun, make the world happy. Goldie Hawn, Meg Ryan, Jennifer Aniston, they're all blue-yellows.
Tell me how I listen to you, how I find you, how I read your book.
Okay. Well, first of all, they can go to my website at auracolors.com. A-U-R-A colors, the American version, C-O-L-O-R-S, auracolors.com. My email address is on there, my phone number, everything's on there. And I've got a lot of CDs and DVDs, and I'm coming out with some new ones very soon.
Gosh, you're a busy girl. We're going to say goodbye, but what song are you going to listen to on your way home?
You know what? Whatever surprises me on the radio.
Well, I think we'll turn on the radio and see what it is. This is Alice Faye with a few of my favorite things. Bye.
Hey, set off, whatever will be, will be. The future's not ours to see. Que sera,